My parents left a couple of mystery boxes from my childhood on the front steps, so today we're going through them. Let's get started. I have no idea what's in these boxes. We're going to go through them together right now. My daughter's in the room as well to help me sort, and let's see what's here. Let's see if there's any treasures or if this is mostly trash. This one was labeled, I think, Breakables. It also has an old assignment from when I used to be Janine's student, actually. You'll remember my friend Janine from a previous decluttering video. But I don't need to keep my old homework assignments, so we're going to recycle that. This is an old baseball uniform. I think, a game from 18 plus years ago is still on this uniform. It's not a keep for me. I have no memory of these items. They can probably be donated. This one might be garbage. It's a little dirty, but this one can probably be wiped and donated. But it's not something that I want to keep. I'm going to hand that off to my daughter so she can put that in the donate pile. So apparently at some point I collected clowns. I have no memory of this one in particular. It can be donated. This particular item I do remember owning when I enjoyed clowns. However, it's broken, it's dirty, it can't be donated. And this is something that can sometimes happen for somebody who owns too many things or somebody who may be further into the spectrum of being a hoarder, is that you own so much you can't actually take care of everything. I know this isn't the case for all. There are some people that are collectors that keep everything very tidy, but in my parents' case, this is not unusual. It's dirty, it's broken. There's just so much in the house, it couldn't be properly taken care of. So this is unfortunately garbage. Again, I remember this doll. I don't remember where it came from. It was possibly gifted to me. This is a sad fact about what happens in homes where there's a hoarder or where there's somebody who can't take care of the items, is that they often will get stained and dirty and they can't even be donated. I remember these clown dolls. They're still in okay condition. They could possibly be donated, but I'm not going to be keeping them. So this is just another example of items that get broken or ruined when you own more things than you could properly take care of. This one, thankfully, doesn't have any sentimental attachment for me. Even though it was wrapped up, it's broken. It looks like somebody tried to glue it. This is a go for me, and it's garbage. I do remember these clown coasters. I don't need to keep them. This one can possibly be donated. This, I don't even know if it was mine. I have no memory of this. It can go. This mask I do remember. There was a phase when I was around my daughter's age where I really enjoyed masks. I made some at school. I thought they were really neat, but I don't particularly need to keep this one, and it's also broken and dirty, so that one actually probably has to go in the garbage. I don't know where this came from. I do slightly remember it, but it doesn't have any sentimental value to me, and it's dirty. I'm not going to keep that. Another clown item, I don't have any memory of this one. It might have come from my grandparents' apartment, but I don't know. If you're a parent or a grandparent and there are items that are of sentimental value to you or have a story behind it, I recommend including even a Post-it or a note with the item so that your family members know the value of the item if there's any value, or the story or the sentimentality behind it. This particular piece doesn't have any sentimental attachment for me, so it can be donated. My daughter just asked me if I had a clown obsession when I was a kid. I didn't actually, but what happened was that a few people got me a few clowns, and then the collection escalated from there. So I wasn't actually obsessed with clowns, but I just kept receiving them. Similar to somebody getting a frog or two from a family member as a gift, and then continuing to get frogs every Christmas for the rest of their lives, and then they end up with 300 frog figurines. So this can go. This one I do remember. I think it's a candle holder. It's broken though. I don't think we're going to keep this. I don't have any memory of this item whatsoever. It's dirty, it can go. I remember these cat figurines from when I was younger, but they're dirty. I don't need them. There's nothing really sentimental to me about these items. And then finally, my daughter's gonna laugh about this, yet another clown. And I don't know how I became the clown girl, but this can go. My daughter and I just went through a whole box of items labeled Breakables. It was things like my old clown collection, some figurines. I'm not keeping any of it. Most of it was actually not able to be even donated. So this is my tip for you if you're a parent or a grandparent. Send your kids or grandkids a picture of the item and ask them if they actually want it before you take the time and energy to box it all up and bring it to their house, because chances are they may not want that item. I definitely don't want my old baseball uniform, but somebody else might. So it's great to check, especially if they're not your personal items. But it's much easier to check via just a quick picture on a text than to bring a heavy box to somebody's house and leave it on their step. So let's see what's in here. It says treasures. Okay, so we're continuing to unbox my childhood memorabilia. I don't know what's in here, but we'll see together. So this is kind of funny and sad. These are some old library books from my high school. So these books date back to 2003 probably. That's how old these are. I don't even think I could donate them or bring them back to the library. So I'm sure I paid fees for these at some point, but anyway, those can go. This is part of a collection that I do currently still have. I do believe that I found this particular number and replaced it because it was missing, but I'll have my daughter check. So these are, I think there's actually a bug on this duotang. This is an old book from a church activity. This can be recycled. This is a picture of me at Halloween. I might scan that one. This is a dirty teddy bear. This can go in the garbage. It's ruined. This is an interesting find. When I was my daughter's age, I was in 4-H club and we did a whole bunch of different activities. We earned, I earned different categories here. And although I had a great time and there were great memories involved, I don't need a plaque from when I was, 12 or 13. It's just not something I want to keep. So this can go. We just looked at my 4-H plaque. This was actually an activity book that I did for one of my 4-H achievements. And I really enjoyed making this book. I remember finding this exact picture of a grizzly, and I think that's a grizzly bear.
That's a grizzly bear.
And it confirms what I thought. I had put my age down at the bottom of this book, age 12. So I was pretty close to my daughter's current age when I made this. And it was all about learning different things we need to know for the outdoors, poison ivy, paw prints and tracks, things like that. Things that are handy to know, especially as a Canadian, including food storage and keeping things safe when camping. So this was a fun book to create. It does have some helpful information. However, all of this is available online now, so we don't need to keep this book. Oh my gosh. Okay, if this book belonged to the school, it was also not returned apparently. So when I graduated, the high school librarian did come to me and say I had a whole bunch of books that were missing and that she couldn't account for. And I had thought I'd returned them all, but it's clear that some of these books just got mixed up with my mother's hoarding. So I'm sorry to my high school librarians. I'm sure I paid the fees, but I did have the books. That was my fault. This is a picture from when I was in high school. It's ruined. Obviously, I can't even scan this, so unfortunately it's garbage. An old Alanis Morissette poster. It's dirty and ruined. I won't be keeping that. So this is another library book. I can actually see that mice or something were chewing these, so these are definitely garbage. I'm wondering why I had all of these library books. It's possible these got mixed up with my mother's hoarding. It's also possible that I didn't return them. My last year of high school, I had a really tragic event happen, and so more than likely the teachers just didn't ask for these books, or I'm not sure what happened, but that can go. This is a card from my grandparents. Lots of love from Grandma and Papa. It's nice to see their handwriting, but I don't particularly need to keep this. More evidence of a mouse. This is garbage, unfortunately. I remember wearing this hat for my 16th birthday. It's also been ruined by a mouse. That's garbage. Garbage. I don't know why these cups were in the box, but they're also garbage. I don't know why I have a horseshoe. So in addition to mice chewing some of these books, mold also got into the books and the papers here. So these things are all garbage for the most part. This happens in homes where hoarding is very extreme and you lose all sense of what you actually own, and there's too much for you to take care of. So some of this, if you remember CDs, let me know in the comments. The Goo Goo Dolls were one of my favorite bands, and they still are. They're a good band, but the CD case is broken, and there's actually no CD in it, so that's also garbage. A lot of this is garbage, so I'm actually going to speed things up here for a minute so that we can sort the garbage. Okay, so as I guessed, most of this is garbage. What do you recommend doing with old trophies? I think I might just throw them in the garbage. These are old race cars. Unfortunately, I might have kept one or two of these for my son, but they're wrecked, so they're garbage. Yeah, so a lot of this is actually old. So in this box is an old agenda of mine from, I think, middle school when Hanson was popular. I don't need this. This is garbage. Backstreet Boys. That's from a friend of mine. There might be some sentimental notes in here that I want to keep, but everything has been so ruined. So this was some sort of book award. Everything is so ruined that even if I wanted to keep some of these things, I couldn't. So Unfortunately, these are garbage. Before there was texting and Facebook, there was passing notes between friends during class and between classes. This is a note from a friend of mine in grade 8. This was texting back in the day. And it's kind of fun to see the old CDs, the old letters, things like that, that bring you back to a time when not everything was social media. We're on to the third and final box. You might be wondering why my parents have dropped this off to my home now after, 18 plus years. What's happened is that in the last year or two, my sister bought their home, and she bought it as is, which is how you buy somebody's house if, I think maybe if it's a relative or if it is somebody that's a hoarder. Sometimes people buy their homes as is and then they deal with the clutter. And that's what's been happening at their house. My sister bought it, and my brother-in-law has been helping to clear out all the clutter and renovate the home. And so they had these boxes of my items. And even though so far I'm only keeping some photos that I'm planning to scan and then discard the physical copies, I do believe they did the right thing by bringing my things back to me, because I'm the one that should be making the decisions about these items. Now, as I said before, they could have made this process easier by just sending pictures, and then I could have said, no to all of these things, but I'll take the pictures, that sort of thing. But here we are. We're just going to keep going. Okay. This is actually a good memory. I won this as part of a box hockey tournament at camp, and it's probably one of the bigger trophies I got as a kid. But what do you do with trophies later in life? I don't particularly need to display this. It's from, 1996. I would have been in grade 6. So it's a fun memory, but I don't need this trophy. So this is another car that I made. I say I made, but actually my stepdad made it for me as part of one of those car race type events through a church organization I was a part of. And it's seen better days. This can go. I've got some an old book report here. I don't need that, obviously. Again, an agenda I don't need anymore. So back in the day, I got a bunch of different books about getting scholarships and bursaries because I really wanted to go to college or university, but my parents were not, wealthy. But now these types of books, this one I wouldn't donate because it's dirty anyway, but this type of information is online. So kids can get any of this via the internet. This is all just old law class notes. Those can go to recycling. Here's another book I didn't return. This is a recurring theme. I'm a little concerned by this, but as I said at the time, my final year of high school, I was going through a really hard time, and so I imagine either I forgot to return these or they got mixed up with the hoarded items. I'm not sure what happened. This is a report card from grade 2. Keep up the excellent work, Samantha. I don't know if I need to keep that. An old newspaper article, another old, I don't know if you need to keep your, grade 2, grade 3 report cards. A running meet. So this is an item that I might have actually wanted to have shown my daughter. It's a yearbook from when I went to the same school that she just recently graduated from. And it would have been fun for her to look through this, and if it had been kept nice, that would have been good. So I recommend that if there are items that are sentimental to you or that you want to keep safe, make sure they're in a proper storage bin and not a cardboard box, because that will not keep, mice or ants or grossness from getting onto your things. So this old yearbook We can take a quick look through it, but I will probably not keep it. It looks like a mouse might have already been chewing on it, so this is contaminated. It has to go. This is just some old writing of mine, some old stories. Ugh. Dirt and things are all over the place. That can go. A happy birthday note from a friend, actually, that I'm still close with, my 18th birthday. A lot of what's left here are school items, so I'm going to speed things up to quickly go through this and see what's actually in here. But I think it's mostly just old school projects and stuff. So of the 3 boxes that were dropped off at my house, I'm only actually keeping some photos. What I've been doing just now is cutting out one of these multiple sets of the same photo. And I'm not actually even going to keep the physical copy because when items have been contaminated by mice or bugs or anything like that, it's not a good idea to keep those items. I've just selected some samples from when I was younger that I'm going to keep, and I'm going to just scan these and get rid of the physical copy. So ultimately, of the 3 boxes that were dropped off, I'm not keeping anything. I'm just going to scan the photos that I do want to keep, and everything else is getting recycled or thrown in the garbage. I don't even think there's anything that can be donated just because I don't think it's safe to donate it, so I'm not going to. So yeah, that's that. So this is the end of our surprise clutter project. Thank you so much to my daughter, who was my body double and my declutter buddy in this whole process and helped me get through the task very quickly. It only actually took us a few hours, if that, to get through this. So I'm just glad it's done and over with. And even though it is childhood memorabilia and things like that, it was not very emotional for me. I've been decluttering now for years, and so I'm glad I had that experience behind me so that when I had to go through these items, it was very easy for me to let go of, well, everything. There's really no need for me to keep any of this. Now, if these items were in good condition, maybe there's a few things here and there I might have wanted to have kept, but since they weren't, it actually made it even easier. So if you're a parent and you want to be able to keep some of these sentimental items for your kids, make sure you put them in a proper storage container, and also consult your child as they grow so that they can decide what they want to keep. Some of these items, I personally don't know why they were held on to, but for somebody else, they might have been something that they wanted. That's a wrap on our special clutter project. Thank you so much for being here, and be sure to let me know in the comments what you're decluttering today.